The Democratic Republic of Congo is a giant in Africa in terms of natural resources, geology and geography, and its human resources and capital as well. But it's been consistently held back by conflict. Are there signs that it's breaking free? I spoke to the country's economy minister and its deputy prime minister, Daniel Mukoko Samba, about how the country is starting to move forward and his plans to stabilise its budget and make more of its mineral, energy and agricultural potential. This is the interview in full, and I'll share some thoughts afterwards. If you want the highlights, they're in the shorts.
Mr. Mukoko Samba, very, very pleased to talk to you again. This afternoon you'll be receiving a prize for your work with the Crans-Montana Forum. Can you tell us what you feel, because it's not prizes which really count, but achievements. What do you feel are the biggest achievements that you have had this year and the biggest things that are going to happen in the next few months for your country?
I think for my country, because the prize I'm going to get this afternoon doesn't really matter on a personal point of view. Well, what is more important is what is happening in the country. The best achievement I would say is that the Congolese economy has been resilient amidst a very difficult context internationally as well as nationally. Yes. In the country, as you know, there's been this war, let's call it that Rwanda has been waging against us. It deprived us of energy resources that we could have used in a better way than just for security reasons, although security is important. But the economy is resilient. Growth is there. We will achieve 6.3% of growth this year, GDP growth this year. Inflation is down. We are in the middle of a macroeconomic program with the IMF, which is going very well. We will start this October the second review of the program, and we are quite confident that the review will be successful because we have kept our promises and our commitments in terms of reforms and in terms of the way the budget is being executed. So now, what's going to happen in the coming months? We want to see more local production of foodstuffs. As Minister of the Economy, I would say that is one of the most important tasks we have to face in DRC.
Can I go back to the IMF deal, which you just mentioned? What are you asking them for? What are you hoping to get from the IMF?
You know, we are a member of the IMF, and any member of the IMF is eligible to assistance, financial assistance, as well as technical assistance. We get technical assistance from the IMF in several areas, and we have this financial assistance that provides balance of payment support. Today we are close to 3 months of official reserves in terms of dollars and other external reserves for the country, which is good. We want to do more because we know that there are external shocks that can hit us anytime, and we'd better be prepared. So far, so good. It's a dialogue. It's not IMF putting on us this or that reform. Is a dialogue. We discuss, we exchange, and we do agree on what has to be done. And so far, it's going well.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned the major issue which your country has faced this year, which is the conflict which has been going on. And you came to a deal with Rwanda, mediated by the US, and a big part of that deal was around economic relationships. Has anything come of those? Do you expect anything to happen as a result of those economic deals?
Let me put it this way. the wording that is coming out of the discussions still going on this issue is economic integration. Both countries do share some mutual interests. Let's take Lake Kivu, where there are resources that can be exploited together. Rwanda has tried to extract gas from Lake Kivu. We haven't started yet, but we could do it together. Rwanda, Burundi, and DRC have been the founding members of CEPGL, Communauté économique des pays des Grands Lacs, which in my view was a very good achievement in terms of economic integration, economic cooperation. Ruzizi 1, Ruzizi 2, these dams provide electricity to the 3 countries. Even today, even when the war was raging. So there are avenues for cooperation, peaceful cooperation. What we don't want is this illegal exploitation of natural resources from DRC, the use of armed groups to instill instability, to disrupt the rule of law, and to disrupt the right by the DRC government to rule its own territory and to manage its own resources. So we can go into deals with any neighbor, but that has to be cooperation, collaboration, dialogue, and not imposition by any country on our own resources.
If I were to be a cynical interpretation of your answer, I would suggest that it sounds like there's not been very much progress since that deal was signed.
The discussion is going on. There are groups involved from our side, from the DRC government, as well as from the Rwandan government and the USA mediation. So let's wait and see what will come out of that discussion. But what I'm telling you is that what we want, what President Tshisekedi has wanted from day one, in February, March, April 2019, from day one, he traveled to the 9 neighboring countries, offered dialogue, offered this cooperation, economic integration. This is not new to DRC. It's not new at all.
Okay, 2 more things I wanted to ask you, please. The Inga Dam, you spoke about the importance of that, the Grand Inga Dam project. Are you any closer to securing the financing that you need to do that? Is there any chance of any announcements in the coming months?
The latest announcement that came out from Washington, as you may know, was that this project funded by the World Bank to support the scheme. So now let's wait and see what will come out of this project and the engagement by the African Development Bank and the World Bank, but under the leadership of the DRC government, so that we have a clear scheme under which this huge project will be developed.
Okay, and then you mentioned Washington, and the US obviously has a government shutdown at the moment, and it's also the moment when AGOA is due to be renewed. How much of a concern is it for you that that might not be high up on the agenda in Congress and in Washington, and how important is that for your country?
I don't think there is anything to fear about that. We will discuss. There was even this idea of organizing this AGOA meeting in Kinshasa. It didn't happen this year. Maybe it will happen next year, but we are still willing to discuss with the US government so that we can renew this AGOA for the benefit of both countries.
And you're not worried because you think it will be renewed?
I think yes, yeah.
And then finally, you've obviously a big part of your economic policies issue has been around your cobalt policy and how you can make better use of your resources there. One of the things that you want is more domestic mining, more domestic processing to take place. Is there more that you can do for that? Are you satisfied that companies are doing enough? And should the state be playing a bigger role?
There is a project led by Congolese on that area. It's Buenasa, which is a company trying to establish a refinery of cobalt and copper in the Katanga region. They have secured the partnership of the government. The government has an equity in that company. So the idea is that the DRC has to win this local transformation part of the game, because today extraction is made basically by foreign companies. What we have seen on the cobalt market is that we lost control of the market, we lost control of prices, because they are stockpiling that in China and other places, depleting the prices. So the measure that we took in February this year show that there is a way to manage the cobalt market differently. Now we will try a new system of quotas, but as we have been saying, this game has to be won by local processing of cobalt and other minerals in the country for better value added, but and also for our government to have some control on products on which we are the major suppliers in the world. When you supply 70% of the world to the world market, tell me then why you shouldn't be, I'm not saying dictating the prices, but at least having a say in where the prices gets fixed. That's the point.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Makoko Samba. Real pleasure.
As you heard, my reading is that the progress promised earlier in the year after those White House talks with Rwanda hasn't really materialised, and it hasn't contributed to a more managed exploitation of resources which will benefit the people. However, as Makoko Samba points out, the country's economy is weathering the storm, and there are reasons to be optimistic. The DRC has completed an IMF programme for the first time, something you won't have seen in the news, but it's a big deal. Makoko Samba was very optimistic about new talks, and the foreign exchange situation is improved. The country has not yet won its tug of war with miners and markets to get better prices for its cobalt and keep more of the upstream profits in the country. But the fact that it's ending an export ban can only be a positive step. The new quota system will be closely watched. But of course, the big deal will be ending the fighting in the east, a subject which doesn't fall under Makoko Samba's remit to speak publicly on. With that resolved, government resources are freed up to focus more on creating the country that the DRC should